welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin, and this is going to be a video all about zucchini. So this video, I'm not even sure how long it's going to take for me to film it, but I'm going to film it over the course of multiple days, just showing you all the different things that you can do with zucchini. So I harvested some zucchini. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zucchinis, and that is after I've given some away. Zucchini is absolutely one of my favorite vegetables to grow and harvest. The reason being, one plant gives you so many. I have 3 zucchini plants, and I'm bringing in this much zucchini. But also, I love that it can be transformed in so many different ways. I love to take zucchinis, and when we have the big guys here that are the size of a baby, I love this is going to be made into a boat. I love to do zucchini patties. I don't know what we're doing. I love to make zucchini patties. I love to make zucchini crab cakes. They're mock crab cakes I made for the first time last year. Delicious. We're gonna be making that on this video. I love to just saute these with onions, and I do 2 different sauces. Girls, kids. It's a girl and a boy. Kids. I love to just saute it, and I saute it in a couple different spices, which we're going to do. I saute it in cowboy candy, delicious. Montreal steak seasoning is one of my favorite seasonings to saute vegetables in. I don't know why, but I do the Montreal steak, I do the spicy Montreal, delicious. And then I also like to do a regular actual vegetable seasoning. I have this delicious, it's by McCormick Grill Mate. It's garlic and herb, love it. There's also a really good lemon, garlic, spice. I also believe it's from McCormick that I love to put on vegetables as well. So a simple saute with zucchini is fantastic. Every now and then I'll look the other way when I see a zucchini in the garden until it becomes a boat like this. The reason being, once it becomes this beautiful boat, I make boats with it. So very simple. If you want to just stay simple, see, you can carry it like a baby. It's that big. Tomato sauce, hamburger, some mozzarella seasoning, cut this open, hollow this out, fill it with that filling, delicious. A taco boat, taco meat, taco cheese salsa, delicious. With the boat, there's so many things you can do with it. I actually have 2 of them, 2 massive zucchinis. So, the thing with zucchinis, before we get into any of our recipes, the thing with zucchinis is this is actually the size you want to harvest them. Just for comparison's sake, that's a bit of a difference. With these guys, this is the perfect size, and when you buy zucchini at the store, this is the size you're buying at. These big boats come because they've gotten lost in the green leaves, or sometimes you get a little cocky, like, oh, I'll let that go another day, it'll be fine, and then you forget about it, or it gets lost, and then, again, huge. So these small ones are the way to go. And I will say, when I see them this small on the plant, I do say, oh, well, let's go another day. Again, how I get my boots. But this is actually the perfect size to harvest these zucchini. The reason being, the seeds in this are going to be non-existent. And when we cut this guy open, I'll show you, the seeds are going to be non-existent. This is the perfect size for sauteing, for eating the entire plant. The seeds are non-existent. The skin is going to be thin, edible, great. When we talk about this big boat, the reason we made these in a boat is because the seeds in this are going to be much thicker, much larger. And I'll put a picture in here when I cut these guys open. I'll do a side-by-side comparison to show you. This, you will have to take out the seeds. You can eat the seeds, but they're not as pretty. They're not hard. They're nothing like that, but they're just not as appealing to the eye, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. The skin on these guys is going to be a bit tougher than the skin on these guys, and I can actually feel it as I hold it. This small one, it just feels like a thin skin. I don't know how to explain it, and then you have to like hold it yourself, but it just feels like a thin skin. Whereas compared to hands, let's do that. This is a soft woman's hand that has never done a day's work in her life. This is a man's hand, and it is callous, and it is blistered, and it's worn. You know, there's hands that are nice and worn because I use them every single day. It's not seen moisturizer. That's this zucchini. This zucchini lives in the moisturizer. So you can see those differences right off the bat. This is gonna be all about the zucchini, and I'm sure I'm not gonna do everything with the zucchini that you possibly could, but we're gonna try. And if you have any ideas on anything else you can do, put them in the comments below and let me know. I will say, Rachel at the 1870s Homestead, one of her favorite things to do, which I have not done it yet, but I think it's a great thing to do, is she'll shred her zucchinis and she adds them to her tomato sauces and her salsas. And it melts into your tomato sauce and salsa, and it actually doubles the size of your salsa. You know, it takes you from maybe 2 quarts of salsa by shredding a zucchini makes 4 quarts of salsa. So from her experience, it just maximizes how much you're putting back. So that's the other thing that you can do with these zucchinis. But we're gonna focus on maximizing these zucchinis for zucchini purposes. I really want to relish in the beauty of a zucchini. And these guys we're gonna have a good time with these. I'm excited. I'm excited about all the zucchinis I have. We're gonna have fun. Okay, the first zucchini meal we're gonna make is my zucchini cakes. And I've been making these for years, and I love them. They are so delicious, and you can customize these to your own flavor. So I just have a zucchini. I have a large zucchini. And actually, let's cut this one down, and we'll see what this guy looks like in the middle for educational purposes. Oh, he's not bad. You can see all along here are little seeds, but they actually haven't started growing yet. They are still small. There's no seeds on this side. And when you go up to the top, there's no seeds up here. They've just started growing. So these I'm just gonna shred right in to my, zucchini cakes without a problem. And honestly, even when I do the boat size zucchinis for zucchini cakes, I normally put them in there too. It's not too bad. Sometimes when I'm feeling up to it, I'll dig them out, but they're soft. They're not gonna be hard, but they're just gonna be there, you know? So I'm gonna take a zucchini. Oops. I'm gonna get him all grated up. You can take the skin off if you want. I leave the skin on. The skin is edible. So what a lot of people do at this point is they're actually salt their zucchini and they're squeeze it out to get a lot of that moisture out, and that makes for a crisper zucchini cake. I don't do that anymore. That was just an unnecessary step for me. What I do instead is when I grill them, I keep patting them thin, and I do them really thin instead of kind of thick. That's just going to be entirely your choice. Whatever you feel like doing. So next I'm going to take an onion, and it is best to use raw onion. I love the crunch of the raw onion, but I actually don't have any onions left aside from like what I have in my garden, and I don't want to pick them yet. They're still on the smaller side. So I was pleasantly surprised to find this guy in the fridge. So I like, you can grate them if you don't like onion, but I love to have bits of onion in here and just get that crunch from the onion. So I'm going to give this guy a rough chop. I put him in the bowl. Next, I'm going to do pepper jack today. I have a cheddar cheese somewhere and I've lost it. It's somewhere in there and I don't feel like looking. But I thought, you know what? Pepper jack would be really good in this. So I'm just going to shred up a little bit of this pepper jack. But if you don't use pepper jack, you can use whatever you like. Cheddar is a good option as well. I've used cheddar in every single one I've made before. And pepper jack is just going to give that really nice spice. Next, I'm going to add in some breadcrumbs. You just want a little bit of breadcrumbs to help bind it together. I want to start with that. Then we're going to do 2 eggs. And the eggs are just providing the glue, which is going to bind everything together. And then we're going to do our spices. So, off the bat, of course, salt. Good amount of salt and pepper. When I use cheddar cheese, I also use, I think I need a little bit more salt. When I use cheddar cheese, I also use red pepper flakes, but since I'm using the pepper jack, I'm not doing the red pepper flakes. But if you did not do the pepper jack cheese, you want to add in a little bit of spice. That's really quite good. So next, I'm just going to do a little bit, I just have like a teaspoon of garlic powder. And that's where I'm going to end it for right now. I'm going to get this guy mixed together. So you want to pat them just so they stick together. That guy's not falling apart at all. I put him down and then I give him a little press. Make our dipping sauce that is going to go with our zucchini cakes. So I like to do what's called a bang bang sauce. And it's sriracha mayo and chili sauce. Now normally I make my own sriracha mayo, but I bought this at the grocery store. I take this to work with me to have as my breakfast. I love to put it on my egg sandwiches or my egg biscuits, and it gives a nice little bit of spice. So ideally make it, but if you don't, you can buy it, or just take mayonnaise and sriracha and mix them together to get the spiciness that you want. And then I'm using some of my homemade chili sauce. We're going to be making this summer because I'm almost out, but if you don't have that, you can find chili sauce in the Asian section of the grocery store, and I use it for so much. But this sauce is my favorite thing in the world. Spicy from the mayo, sweet from the chili sauce. It's so good. So this is what I actually pour on my zucchini cakes. It's a great accompaniment. Look how good that looks. It actually doesn't look like much, but it tastes so good. It's so flavorful. It tastes so good. It's so flavorful. So just there's a little bit of sauce on. And I'm going to eat it with a piece of corn on the cob. And let's take a bite. I think it's going to be so good. And if you wanted to spice it up a little bit, you could add some corn. I've added corn to this already. Make a zucchini corn cake. That's delicious. Makes it a lot more beefier. And peppers would be good in here too. It is so good. You can taste all the flavors. I can taste the garlic. I love the crispiness that gets on top. I can taste the cheese. It is, you guys, it's not much, but you gotta make that. This next recipe I cannot take credit for, but it quickly became a family favorite. This is mock crab cakes, but with zucchini. And they're so, so good. So these I love to make, and I'm gonna make these and put these in the freezer. And then I won't touch these until my zucchini is done. I eat these a lot in the wintertime, and especially every now and then I'm like, I want to have a meatless a meatless Monday, and I'll do this. So I love these, and I'll be honest, if you peeled your zucchini, you wouldn't even be able to know that these are zucchini. I think if you didn't tell somebody, if you peeled it, so right now I obviously have like a lot of green strips on it, because I didn't peel, I don't know if you can see that, I didn't peel the zucchini. If you peeled the zucchini, so it was not, you don't have those bright green strips, I think you would really be able to fool people and they wouldn't know that this is zucchini, because it tastes exactly like crab cakes. I'm very, very pleased with it. So this recipe I actually got, well, I didn't get the recipe, I got the idea. I got the idea from Rachel over at 1870s Homestead. And she makes her family's crab cakes, but using zucchini. And I got the idea. So I'm not gonna share my recipe. I don't honestly have a recipe. I'm just gonna throw some stuff in a bowl. But I live close to Maryland. In Maryland, we have zucchini crab cakes. In Maryland, we have Maryland crab cakes. So when I make my crab cakes, they have to be made a certain way. So this time when I make the crab cakes, I am going to squeeze out some of that water. And it's very cold. Whew, it really hurts your hands. It really hurts your hands. You could let it sit, salt it, let it sit for a couple hours. But I'm trying to be quick. So I'm just giving it a quick squeeze through the majority of it, and it hurts. So we're not going to do too much, because this was in the fridge, so this is very cold. Okay, I'm gonna say that's good. I got a little bit of water out. I'm gonna say that's good. So if you live near Maryland, most likely you're very picky with your crab cakes. They need to be a certain way. So I'm making mine the way that I've always made it. I'm not following a recipe. But you can obviously make these however you want, and then they freeze really great. I'm gonna bake them today, and then individually wrap them in plastic wrap and throw them in the freezer. And then whenever I want one, I'll pull one out, throw it in the oven, and it'll be delicious. So for my crab cakes, it's some mustard, some eggs, the key here is Old Bay, and a lot of it. This is what really is going to sell it as a crab cake. Some Worcestershire sauce. I love Worcestershire sauce. And then the Old Bay has salt in it, so I'm not going to salt it because the Old Bay has a lot of salt in it. And the last thing I'm going to add is some sort of breadcrumbs or panko. And this, I think, is pretty close to a traditional Maryland style crab cake. I'm going to start with a little bit of breadcrumbs and kind of go up from there. I know a lot of other people put onions and peppers in their crab cakes, and that is just not how we do our crab cakes. We got to add some mayonnaise that we just whipped up. Just enough as a binder. Again, start small. We can add more later. And then mix it all together. And just like the first zucchini cakes we made, we just want to mix this until it all sticks together. Oh, it smells like crab cakes. It smells so good. That Old Bay is just dynamite. Okay, I think we're definitely going to need some more breadcrumbs. Come on, off please. I did decide last minute I wanted to add a little bit of garlic powder. Okay. Then when I make these guys, I make them as big as crab cakes. My zucchini cakes I like to flatten. These guys we're going to bake in the oven. So I like these guys to be pretty meats. Pretty meaty. So I just take it and I make a little crab cake ball, put it on the plate, put it on the pan. I have the oven set to 375, and we're gonna bake them. I don't actually know how long I'm baking them for this time. I didn't write my recipe down last time. So I'm just gonna bake them and then I'm gonna flip them halfway through. So I'll let you guys know how long I bake them for. They're almost like little zucchini meatballs. And I'm not going to do that because I don't like meatballs, but that's another great thing you could do with zucchini. You could make meatballs with zucchini. Add a little bit of meat, and it will just make your meatballs, it'll make your meat go further. And in this day and age, that's probably a really good thing. You get your kids to eat the veggies, and it makes your meat go further. So zucchini meatballs. If you like meatballs, make them. Let me know how they turn out. I'm just weird and I don't like meatballs. So I'm gonna bake these, flip them halfway through, and then I'll bring you guys back when I get them out. These guys are done and they look gorgeous. I did do a second batch that I did put a little bit more mayonnaise in so they spread out a little bit, but they turned out gorgeous. So with these zucchini crab cakes, I do like to serve a dipping sauce to go with them. Sometimes I do like an Old Bay remoulade, or I think it's called remoulade. Or sometimes I just do like a bang bang salsa or bang bang sauce. But what I did buy to see if I liked it, and I actually really do like it just for the zucchini crab cakes, is it's the secret sauce by Ranch. And I don't know what it is, but it does taste really good with the zucchini crab cakes because I am a condiment girl. I like the sauces. So that is one more zucchini recipe down. So I just finished making our zucchini crab cakes. They ended up baking for 50 minutes total, 25 minutes on one side and 25 minutes on the other. I did taste them. Oh, they are so good. So delicious. So I got them wrapped in plastic wrap. I double wrapped, put them in a freezer Ziploc bag, and they're in the freezer. Next, we're going to be making just some fried zucchini. Very simple. Everyone I think has had some fried zucchini. But I think this is one of those things, I don't make it often enough. I love fried food. I love crispy fried food. I love fried zucchini. I definitely don't make it often enough. And I was like, you know what? This is a great excuse to make this for this video. And I love, who doesn't love fried zucchini, right? So I just have a medium zucchini, and I'm going to do spears, I think. That's too fat. Is that too fat? That's way too fat. Yeah, that's too fat. Do I just go down the middle, you think? Let's go down. I don't quite know how to cut the spears. I did like that, and then that thick. So I guess they're not like spears, but that'll work, right? I don't want them to be like paper thin. Okay, this one is like, it's like, maybe you can see it this way. It's thicker at the bottom, definitely thinner at the top. Anyway, it'll be fine. They're whatever you want to call it. I don't know if they're spears. I don't know what they are, but they'll work. Okay, that's a spear. That is a much better spear. So I don't know what I did wrong in that first batch. But so you can do these however you want. I know some people like Permanente Brothers. That's a restaurant famous in Pittsburgh. They do zucchini planks. So they just take like the zucchini like right like this, and they just cut it in slices. You can do the zucchini chips where you just cut it in circles, whatever you want. When it comes to breading, this is why I also want to do this video, because I also want to talk about breading. I have used breadcrumbs, and then I went to panko, and if you don't know, panko is a Japanese breadcrumb. It's a lot crispier than breadcrumbs, and I do love me some panko. I always have panko in the house. I do love me some panko. I'm not a hater of the panko. Recently got arrowroot powder, and if you're not familiar with arrowroot powder, I have no idea what it is. I'll put a definition, or I'll put an explanation of what it is here. But I originally got it because it's great for medicinal. It has medicinal uses. Again, I'm not really sure what they are yet. I bought some medicinal books for me to start making my own teas and tinctures and medicine and stuff like that. And so I looked through them and I'm slowly gathering the stuff I need, because you need a lot of stuff to do what you need to do. So I'm slowly gathering what I need, but arrowroot powder was on that list. So I bought this arrowroot powder, and then I was like, well, I have it and I'm not using it and I'm nowhere close. Well, at the time I was nowhere close to being able to make my own medicines and stuff. So I was like, I need to find like how else to use this. And I found out, it's fun to plan. I found out you also use it for frying. And the crisp that you get when you use arrowroot powder, it is insane. Completely insane. So I have switched and all of my frying. I got rid of my knife and I still have half the zucchini to chop. Well, I think we'll hold this zucchini back, and because I got quite a few spears here and it's just me. But the crisp you get with this arrowroot powder is insane. And I decided that from now on, I'm only gonna fry in the arrowroot powder. I did onion rings a couple weeks back. I did fried green tomatoes, which they're coming back in this season, so I'm super excited to eat them here again soon. Everything I fried in this arrowroot powder has been the best I've ever fried. So I am a staunch advocate of forever breading with arrowroot powder. So you season it like exactly how you would season your flour or your breadcrumbs or your panko, whatever you normally use. I do salt, pepper, and my go-to seasoning for frying stuff is paprika. So I normally just add paprika and call it a day, but I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I think I'm going to go with, and actually I don't have a plan. I had an idea in my head when I started talking, and now I lost that idea. I think I'm going to go with a chipotle spice. Now for my wet portion, I'm just going to do some eggs. You can do eggs, milk, you can do just egg whites. Sometimes people just do egg whites. I'm just going to use eggs, and it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to do a whole egg, and then I'm just going to beat it. Now if you're frying, normally you want to like put these in flour and then move forward. But these are dry, and honestly I get lazy sometimes. And this was not the right thing to do. You can't see. My zucchini sphere is too big for the little puddle of egg I have. Okay. And then I get nice and coated, and I put it in the pan while it waits on the fryer. I do have a pot of oil going on the stove, and literally as soon as I got the oil going, I was like, oh, I could have baked these for a healthier, or air fry them for a healthier option, but we're here now, and we're gonna do it. So, and the arrowroot powder really coats so well. It really coats very, very well. So what I like to do is coat once, and then as the arrowroot powder kind of gets soaked up by the wetness on the zucchini, you'll notice some extra places where you could maybe double dip. So then sometimes I'll come back through and I'll do a second coating. My oil is a little too hot. It's burning, it's smoking a little bit. So I have it too hot. So I got them all breaded, and I'm gonna wait. I turned my stove off. I'm gonna wait for my oil to come back down and heat a little bit. Okay, my oil has stopped burning just a little bit. So I'm gonna test it to see if it's ready. I'm gonna take one of my zucchini spears and just kind of dip it. Oh, and she's beautiful. She's sizzling away nicely. You don't want it to cook too fast, because if the oil's too hot, it'll just burn the breading and not cook the zucchini. And you cook it at too low of a temperature, it will the zucchini would just soak up the grease and it won't actually get nice and crispy. It'll just kind of get greasy and it'll taste like grease. So I put 4 spears in. You also don't want to put too many in. If you put too many in, what can happen is it can actually lower the temperature of your heat. I'm going to turn my heat back on now, but I'm going to keep it on low, and I'm going to monitor the heat. If you are uncomfortable with frying and you haven't fried before, you can get a thermometer that you can put in here, and there's definitely a range, and I don't know what it is, I'll put it here, but there's a range where you want to have, I think it's around 140, where you want to have your oil temperature for ideal frying. I've fried 1,000 times. I just go by looks and by feel. And the other thing I want to mention with using the arrowroot powder, what I really like about it is it doesn't create a breading. So if you're using panko or breadcrumbs, you get a lot of the breading and then whatever you're frying. Or whatever you're breading. So you get a big hunk of breading and then you get your zucchini. With the arrowroot powder, it just kind of almost makes the zucchini crispy. It's not really so much like you're eating a normal breaded item. So I really, really like that aspect. So I'm just going to cook these guys for 2 or 3 minutes on each side and then flip, and I'll go back and forth until they look nice and crispy and until they're cooked the whole way through. So to go with it, I just heated up some of my spaghetti sauce. If you have marinara sauce, that works better, but I never have marinara sauce. I just use spaghetti sauce to use it for everything. So I'm going to take my zucchini chip, and it is really hot. I should have blew this first. Yummy. So I will say, I'm using canola oil. I used canola oil for this frying for the first time. I normally use peanut oil, but I was out and I'm like, well, canola oil worked just fine. It did not work just fine. These are not, they're definitely good, but they're not as crispy as I wanted them to be, and I couldn't get the heat, I couldn't get the oil as hot as I wanted it. I really struggled to get the oil to a temperature where it wasn't burning, so I think that's why you don't use canola oil. It has a low smoke point. So that what that means is when the hotter it gets, it smokes easier. So I couldn't get it to the temperature that I wanted to fry these guys at because it smoked before I get that temperature. At least that's the theory that I'm going with. That's definitely my experience. I don't know, maybe it was just user error, but I didn't get these guys as crispy as I wanted them today, which is kind of a bummer, but they still taste delicious and I'm gonna enjoy eating them. So I'll see you guys when I do the next zucchini thing. I don't know what that is yet, but I'll see you guys whenever that is. Hi friends, it is another video, another day, trying to do all the things with zucchini. So when I started this video, I really wanted it to be a video that showed you how to do all of the things with the zucchini. And I'm sitting at work today coming up with additional things I want to do, and my list was like 20 items long. It was way too long. At this point, the video would have taken me months to make and it would have been hours long. So I've decided to kind of cut it and give you some ideas on what to do, and then include just some recipes that I've already done, some recipes that I want to do in the future to kind of show you guys, but then just really use this video as good inspiration and ideas on what you can do with all of the zucchini. Zucchini is something that when it starts coming in, it all comes in at once. So that's both good and bad. It's good because when you're preserving it, you can only have to really preserve it once. You don't have to continually preserve throughout the season like you may have to do with tomatoes or peppers. But the bad thing is, when it all comes in at once, it all comes in at once. This is today's harvest of zucchini. I keep missing some. It's green, it blends in. I'm always like, I always see them honestly probably like this size. And I was like, oh, that's still too small. Let it go another day. So I decided to start picking them when I see them this small. It does two things. By picking them this small, the flesh is better. I think we talked about this in the earlier video. Flesh is better, less seeds, smaller seeds, all that good stuff is more tender. But additionally, when you pick them this small, it encourages the plant to send more fruit. When you pick them this big, it kind of tells the plant, okay, we're done. The reason being, a plant's purpose is to repopulate. It is to sow its seed so that next season this plant will continue to grow. Its whole purpose is to continue to grow. So when you have them this small and you keep picking them, it's telling the plant, your seeds aren't there. Your seeds have been taken. Your plant has not been able to lay its seeds. When you pick them this big, it's almost telling the plant, okay, I'm producing fruit. No one's taking the fruit. I have enough seeds out there. This plant will grow next year. So it's kind of telling itself it's done its job, it's reproduced, and it can kind of shut down. So that is another reason why you do want to pick them smaller. I do like them bigger. I honestly don't have a taste of difference or feel a difference between the textures. The only annoyance here is obviously the seeds. But I honestly don't really have a preference between this size and this size personally, but I do like to pick them smaller just for the purpose of, I want the zucchini to keep growing fruit. I don't want it to kind of be told to shut down, and I don't want to stop growing fruit. So I have a couple recipes in this video, but now we're going to talk about, I'm not going to show you how to do it on this video, but I might do it in a different video, but we're going to talk about the different ways that you can also preserve all the zucchini that's coming in right now. So one of my favorite ways to preserve zucchini is to make zucchini relish. So zucchini relish is something that is brand new to me. I made it for the first time about 4 years ago, and I'm obsessed with it. I actually ate so much of it that I went almost 2 years. This can here is from last July. Oh no, sorry, it's from the July of 2020. So this can is 2 years old. And I open a smaller one. It's completely fine. It tastes great. It's completely fine. But I ate so much zucchini in about 1.5 years that I just stopped eating zucchini relish. I ate so much of it that I got really tired of it. So I honestly haven't had any zucchini relish for over 1 year. That's why this is 2 years old. Because I ate it so much. But now I'm starting to get back into it. I kind of took a break from it, and now I'm enjoying it again. So my favorite way to eat zucchini relish is on hot dogs and sausages, but I also just put it on a really good hot dog with some of my pepper mustard. So if you don't know, I make a delicious hot pepper mustard. Again, this recipe, like most of my recipes, comes from Rachel at that 1870s homestead. If you haven't figured it out yet, I adore her. So she always has such good inspiration. So I combined her mustard. I made a few tweaks to it to really kind of fit my palate, but I combined her mustard with this zucchini relish on a hot dog or a sausage, and it is dynamite. It is dynamite. So zucchini relish is definitely one thing that you can add. And what I love about the zucchini relish is when I first made it, I did think it was weird. Like, how is that going to hold up? It holds up great. You honestly don't, if you didn't tell me this was zucchini relish, I wouldn't think it was zucchini relish. I don't know what I would think it would be in all honesty, but I definitely wouldn't sit here and be like, oh, that's zucchini, yeah. I wouldn't think that at all. This batch that I make, and I will link the recipe below. I got the recipe from, I don't even honestly know, I have it printed out in my binder, so I'll go find where I got the recipe, and I'll link it below. This recipe is a sweet zucchini relish, and I really love that. But you obviously, again, you can fit it to your palate. You can make it spicy. You can make it whatever you like. So I'm obsessed with zucchini relish. I was going to make more zucchini relish, but I still have one unopened pint in the fridge, and I have 2 quart jars. So I think I'm going to be good till next year. Again, I haven't, this is from 2 years ago. I haven't been using it, and I'm just starting to get back into it. So I think by next year, I'll make another round of zucchini relish, but this year I'm going to be good on it. One thing to note is you make zucchini relish, it can go a long ways. You take one big size zucchini like this, and imagine when you shred this, how much it's going to make. I think when I do my zucchini relish, I honestly think I only do maybe 2 big zucchinis, and it goes far. What's also nice is if you're looking for Christmas gifts, this is a great thing to give away as Christmas presents. It's a great top-in. I love it this way as Christmas presents. Every year, my Christmas gifts, I kind of alternate. So this year, I did canned goods. I don't quite know what I'm going to do this upcoming year. So I try to like alternate and throw in some new things every now and then. But this will make a really, really great Christmas gift. Speaking of Christmas gifts, I can't say that today. The next one, I gave this away as well. I gave zucchini relish away this year, and I gave zucchini bread jam away this year. This is called zucchini bread jam. Now, I will be honest. This does taste really good. When you make it, it makes your house smell really good. It is just finely shredded zucchini that you make into jam. And it has this one, it calls for raisins. I didn't have raisins, I don't like raisins. I put dried cranberries in mine. It has a dot of brown sugar. It has just, it's sweet and delicious. And it is a jam. It is stringy, obviously because of the zucchini. So it's not going to be, you know, smooth and thin, but it does make a really good jam. What I like to do with this is great in spice cake. It has the flavor profiles for spice cake, cinnamon, nutmeg, has cranberries. It's a very savory jam. So I love to just add it to a mix of my spice mix and then make a cream cheese topping to go on top. It's a great way to use up some of your zucchini, and this makes just, again, a really great gift to give to people. That, I believe, also came from Rachel at the 1870s homestead. So I feel like I need to just start, like, just sending Rachel a check for how often I'm, like, using her recipes. Because they're really good. I don't know if she made this up or she found this somewhere, but this one is on her. She did make this about, I think, 2 years ago for the first time. So this is on her YouTube channel if you want to check out the recipe. Like I said, I love it. And what's really great is if you need to take a dessert to something, you can do it a little bit differently. You know, you don't have to take the chocolate cake or the vanilla cake. Spice cake with cream cheese, that's always, I think, a little bit different. I think it's fun. And this is just a great way to kind of, it keeps the cake super, super moist. And I just think it's, you're going to surprise a lot of people. You're going to get a lot of interest. I just think it's a really great thing to have on your shelf. Again, one zucchini makes a good batch. I think I have about 10 of these half pints. So it lasts me quite a while. So this is also something I'm not going to be making this year. I made this last year. Yeah, I made this last year. So I'm not going to make any more of this year because I just have so much left over. But definitely check that out. I think that's a really great thing to have and to give away as gifts. The next thing is shredded zucchini. Shredded zucchini freezes pretty well for baking purposes. I wouldn't get this out and saute it. I guess you could, but zucchini, because of its high water content, doesn't hold its texture, doesn't hold its composition like other vegetables that we can blanch and freeze. But I love to have shredded zucchini in my freezer. I have multiple bags of this. I actually need to go see how many bags I have and decide if I want to put any more back this year. One of my favorite things to do with it is make chocolate zucchini muffins. So shredded zucchini can be made into muffins, cupcakes, breads, I think everyone makes chocolate. I think everyone makes zucchini bread. I make chocolate zucchini muffins. And you'll see I have them wrapped up in foil. You can't actually see them because they also freeze really, really well. So what I'll do is I'll get a bag of my I'll get a bag of my shredded zucchini out, let it thaw, and then I'll use it in my cupcake. I realize if you use it frozen, you can kind of taste the strings of the zucchini are much more prevalent. If you let it thaw the whole way, then it kind of melts into your cupcake more. So you definitely want to let it thaw the whole way, not just use it straight from the freezer. But then I like to make these chocolate zucchini muffins, and one batch of my chocolate zucchini muffins makes about 36 muffins. Way too much for me to eat, and I love to eat these for breakfast. It has a vegetable in it. It counts as a healthy breakfast. Don't judge me, but I love to eat these for breakfast. They honestly do really fill me up. I can have one or two. Again, no judgment zone here, and it'll keep me full till lunch. So I'm all about that. I'm always somebody I'm hungry all the time, and if I'm hungry at 10 o'clock when I eat lunch at 11, that's just awful for me. So I love having these because they keep me full. And then when I make 36, I divide them up and I put them in this bag. I wrap them in foil, which I don't know if it does anything or not, but I'm going to continue to do it because these thaw just like the day I made them. And the sooner you can freeze them after you bake them. So if I would make them today and freeze them tomorrow, they'd be perfect. They would taste exactly like how they come out of the oven. So the fresher they are when you freeze them, the better they're going to come out. But these thaw exactly the same as the day they went in. So I'm all about it. So I love having shredded zucchini because I actually didn't have shredded zucchini 2 years ago. And for the entire winter, all I wanted was chocolate zucchini muffins. And I didn't have the zucchini to make them. So I definitely want to make sure this year that I don't set myself up for that I make sure I have enough zucchini frozen. Two more things that, again, I might do. One is you can dehydrate zucchini. So you can slice it up into like chips and you can dehydrate it, and then they can either be chips or you can, I did see some posts, you can rehydrate it. I don't know if that's something that I would want to do in all honesty. I'm thinking I would stick with eating it as chips or storing it as dehydrated zucchini, and maybe tossing it in soups or something like that. I don't think it's something that you're not gonna be able to dehydrate it and then saute it in the pan like we do with the fresh zucchini. But zucchini chips are one thing you can do, flavor them up, garlic, salt, pepper. So you can make zucchini chips with just a dehydrated, or even just use your oven. The second thing you can do with zucchini, that this is what I might try soon, is you can make zucchini pickles. So just like we would make cucumber pickles, we can make zucchini pickles. I might take one of these like small zucchinis and turn it into fridge zucchini pickles. I might do that. I definitely won't can it, but I might do that just for some fresh snacking, some fresh eating. But that's another way that you can, and then you also can it, of course, but another way that you can use up some of your zucchini. I did forget, there is one more thing you can do with zucchini that I also might do this year. You can make mock pineapple zucchini. So zucchini is something that takes on the flavor of whatever you put it in. So if you put zucchini into pineapple juice, it's going to become pineapple. So now it won't have the same like stringiness of pineapple. I don't like pineapple for the texture reason. But I think I actually might do some of this zucchini into mock pineapple zucchini, because it tastes exactly like pineapple. Everyone that I've talked to, all the articles that I've read, they've all said you cannot tell a difference between pineapple and this mock zucchini pineapple. So that, I think I'm going to give that a try, and that cans really well. And again, that's one thing I'm all about, doing something so you don't have to purchase another thing. So this is by doing the mock pineapple, you don't have to purchase pineapple, you could use this. By me doing, I did a video on dandelion jam a few months back, and it tastes like honey. So for me, I've been using the dandelion jam in replacement of a lot of recipes for honey. And so I love that I don't have bees, I don't have access to bees, but I can still have something that's similar to honey. I also do corn syrup, and for me that replaces maple syrup. So I love finding these different ways that you can do stuff on your homestead that is not necessarily the item that you want to have, but it's a close enough fit that it can fool you or trick you into thinking that it works. And the mock pineapple is definitely going to be a solid fit. So what's nice about it is, tastes like pineapple, check one, and then check two, you do have pineapple juice that you've canned that you can use for anything from your kombuchas to iced teas, to drinks, to whatever. So I love having, again, the versatility of having an item on my shelf that I can use a couple different ways. So I will turn some of this into that mock pineapple. The last thing you can do is, if you just have an overabundance of zucchini and you don't know what to do with it, you can shred it and you can add it into your canned items such as tomato sauce, salsa, your green tomato curry. I'm gonna make a batch of green tomato curry this year. Again, if you haven't guessed it, that recipe comes from 1870s Homestead. Not all my recipes have been inspired by her, I swear, but I think some of my zucchini ones have. And I just watch her so much, so she gives me inspiration. But you can add this shredded zucchini into a lot of your tomato-based products, and it's really going to just extend your amount. It makes your end result larger, and it melts into it. You don't taste it, you don't know that it's there. It's just a great way to kind of bulk up what you're making. So I think that is the end of all of the things that I think you can do with zucchini. If you have any more ideas, please leave a comment below and let me know what you do with your zucchini, how you preserve it, or your favorite recipe. I would love to hear it. I think I want to thank Rachel and Todd for apparently sponsoring this video. Thank you guys for your inspiration. I love it. And so I encourage anyone who, if you found a recipe on here that I linked back to 1870s Homestead, please make sure you're going and checking them out. They do all these recipes in videos, and so one day I'll do them, but right now I just kind of want to give you just some inspiration on what all you can do as the zucchini is coming in. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Please, if you are enjoying my videos, please like the videos and please subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me if you guys did that. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.